Alright, hey y'all, it's been a while since I've done a draft, but there's been a real lack of quality draft content recently, so I figured I might as well try and record something and throw it up. So here we are with set 6.1 draft, so all the new Hordocs are in the draft set. This opening pack's actually not the best. I think So we've got Alolan Highlander, which is it just basically puts you in Alolan. It looks small at ranks 1 and 2. It's really good if you can play it alone like a Gloomspire Worm, but at rank 3 it's just randomly a 1620 for some reason. With its bonus of being like unkillable and an ungodly stopping machine if it's alone. So it's actually like not bad. It's risen in my estimation every time I've played with it, but I don't really want to pick it here because it's like not insane. It's just decent. Uh, Seismic Adept is a very good card that puts me in Tempest, which is the probably the best faction in this format. Sigmund Fraud and Leyline Demon are Necrium, which put me in the worst faction in this format, and they're not even that good. Like, Sigmund Fraud's awful, and Leyline Demon is way too situational to use. I think there's only, like, Frostwald Tracker and Master of Elements that allows you to put it into play for free. It's way, way harder to put into play than any of the other ley lines, for sure. Emberwind Invoker's fine. I actually want to try Xerox, though, because I haven't drafted Bizarric a lot in this format. I don't think it's great, because, again, Necrium's pretty bad, but I'm always down for trying new things, and I've drafted like Umbric, Utera Tempest like so much, and if I pick Emberwind Invoker, well actually if I pick Seismic Attack, I'm probably just gonna draft Umbric, and if I pick Emberwind Invoker, I'm probably gonna draft Alolan Tempest or Attack. But I want to try Bizarric, so let's draft Xerox, which I think is a very strong card. I always love me some Xerox. The cards in this pack are pretty bad. I still want to go Bizarric, but Gloomspire Worm is horrible, so there's no real need to take it. Best card in this pack is Frostshatter Strike, then maybe Nanoswarm, and then Torgmire Mender. I want to still try and go Bizarric, so I'm going to take a Frostshatter Strike here. But if I were considering Xerox as like a flex, like just a regular Tempest card, I'd probably take the Nanoswarm here, because it's a very good card, and I like being in Auratek a lot. So instead, we're going to jam Zombie Infantry. Cavern Serpent's probably the best card in this pack, but it's not by a huge margin that Zombie Infantry's... Actually, it's a pretty wide margin, but it's not a huge margin that Zombie Infantry is worse than Cavern Serpent. And I like Zombie Infantry over Necrotic Worm because Necrotic Worm's level 1 and 2 are so bad, it doesn't really make up for its good rank 3. And with Bizarric, I usually think you want to be aggressive earlier. And Zombie Infantry is just like a decent creature. It's pretty average size. So I'll just take that and lock in my colors, then pick White Skull Phantasm because it's decent. Vigor Leech is okay as well. It's like the worst removal spell, but there's not a lot of removal spells in Necrium, so I tend to value Vigor Leech way more than the last format, which I would just never take it. And Demonwood Wapshur might actually be bad, because if I pick up... What are the creatures with aggressive? There's Ashurian Mystic, and that actually might be it. So it hurts me only if I have Ashurian Mystics, otherwise it's, a more decent creature than Necrotic Worm, 7/12 rank 2 instead of a 7/8. I'll take a Demonwood Watcher. I don't see its downside being too harmful. So my main options here are Necro Slime and Blizzard Shaman. I think both of them are very, very strong. Necro Slime I'm not too sure about in Bizarric. It takes a little bit of effort to get going. Its rank 1's not very good. Its rank 2's pretty good because it's a 12/12 off 1 activation. And its rank 3 is insane because it becomes a 22/22 off of 1 activation. But Blizzard Shaman does help move around my creatures. It's a large creature. It helps me hit with Xerox, which is nice. So I think I'm going to take that over the Necro Slime. Because there's not a lot of things to hit with Necro Slime that's beneficial in these factions. Like in Degen, you have a bunch of tokens or creatures with regen. And in Onyxium, you have creatures with armor. But in this, I don't really have anything to really help sustain the cost. I could pick up some Nerali Oozes. That actually might be fine for Necro Slime, because Nerali Ooze is a pretty decent aggressive creature, since it's a 5/5 and a 10/10. But I think the utility of Blizzard Shaman is going to be better than the slow, inevitable ramp-up of Necro Slime. And the other cards weren't really worth talking about. I've got two choices here. I could take Herald of Destruction to try not to die to Hunting Pack. I'm sorry, Snowdrift Alpha or Stinging Invocation, which are two really strong cards. Or I could take Frostshatter Strike just because it's a decent card. Frost Shadow Strike's a common. I don't really expect to see another one though, since it's such a highly picked card. They don't show up very often. And Herald is fairly unique, and I usually like having one now because I die to Stinging Invocation all the time, and it feels horrible. And it helps against Snowdrift Alpha and Bright Tusk Silver as well. So I'm gonna take the Herald. Varix Embrace is also fine because it helps you stay in the game if you're trying to go for a more late game approach because it shrinks their guys and gains you life. It's probably a little better than Vigor Leech because of that. And Assuring Umbrella is just a decent creature. It's not amazing. You kind of have to go early game, which I don't think Berserk's is very good at. So I'm just going to take the Herald and then the Bitterfrost Totem because it's much better than these cards. It's a really, really good removal spell. And the next best card is Razortooth Stalker, which I don't really have a lot of good ways to pump to make, useful. Cavern Slime's not great in this color pair. It's only really good in Dejin, so you can pump its toughness. Fellwalker is a decent card. It lets me draft Corpse Crawlers, so it's way better than Gravecast. And Thundergale Invoker is so bad. It's if you have to play it in the center lane and things have to be next to it to get the maximum effectiveness out of it, and it's so board situational, it's horrible. So I might as well just take the Firelane Steed, which is bigger at every rank than the Thundergale Invoker and is basically a level 3 Frostmane Dragon at rank 3, 1619 with mobility 2. I have actually never ever gotten it there, but I assume it gets there eventually. I've definitely died to it before. Puts kind of a timer on the game. Tyrannic Ambusher is the easy pick here. It's the largest card in one of the largest cards in the format, just being a straight 7/7 at rank 1. And I'm going to take another one because it's amazing. Zix Storm Herald is a legendary. Is it even good though? I guess it's really strong with Frost Shadow Strike. It's only being a 7/9 at rank 2 is pretty bad though. If this was a casual draft, I would snap it up because it's a legendary, but it's not a casual draft. I don't even actually know if it's any good. It's decent at rank 1, but its rank 2 is so bad. It's a 7/9 that dies to everything, and doesn't even. It's only a little dent because it's unlikely to battle into their guy and then battle again because with only 9 health, it'll probably just die. Its rank 3 is pretty good as a 12/20, but I don't really foresee playing it that many times. It does have mobility though, which does help me. On the other hand, what am I picking over it? I could take a Nurali Ooze, which is better than Fellwalker, but I don't have the Corpse Crawler yet, or I could just take a Shatterbolt, which is a really good removal spell in this format. I think it's actually pretty close between Shatterbolt and Zix. What is there that pumps? There's no Aranti, I can't remember that card called, the 3/3 Yeti that gives your creature +4 attack at rank 1, and then it scales up pretty well. It's not in this format. It used to be in the last one. It was one of my favorite cards. Warbringer, I think? Aranti Warbringer? I really like that card. That would be insane with 6, but there's nothing really to pump it. There's only Frost Shadow Strike, which while good is not amazing. Since I only have one and I passed one, I don't foresee seeing another one. Though, I guess if I do see another one, it'd actually be pretty good. Much better than Shatterbolt. And I would want to take it if I see it. So I guess I'll talk myself into picking Zix here. Though I think it's really close between these two. And it's a slam dunk Necromoeba pick. Necromoeba is one of the better cards in the faction pair. I'm going to take the Sparkstorm Elemental here, so if I draw draft any Steam Sentinels, they'll come alive for me. We've got a Lava Fused Acer, which is good with Firelane Steed and Zix. So actually I just might take it for that reason. If I weren't taking that, I'd probably take the Nurali Symbiote or the Darkshard Witch. Probably, it's only halfway through the draft, so I'd probably take the Darkshard Witch. Since if I get 2 or 3 Darkshard Witches in a draft, that gives me a good form of reach that I would have to rely on just Frost Shadow Strike for otherwise. Since there's no Halazith in this format, the Berserk decks lost a little bit of reach that they had last time. But Lava Fused Acer is also pretty good at reach, ends the game pretty quickly, and is really strong with Zix, so I'm going to take it. And Tyrannic Ambusher, number 3, all according to plan. This pick is questionable. I could take the Mara Fiend for, just having an 8/1, though I think I'd rather take the 6/7, just have a little more aggressive start. It's not very good at rank 2 because it's only 7/8, so it's worse than Zix. But its rank 3 is decent, 15/16. So I'm just going to take it. Vengeful Spirit's okay. It kills anything with 6 power because it gives -3/-3 when it dies, and then it scales up pretty well. But it's very small. It's not really worth talking about as a creature. It's more like a removal spell. The Demon Watcher I already have one of, and it's not fantastic. and the Marrow Fiend is very similar to Vengeful Spirit. It scales a little better, 11 than 17, but its low health makes it really susceptible to a lot of different secondary effects. So I'm just going to take the Flowstone Primordial here, and then a second Bitterfrost Totem. Removal scales really well when you have Xerox in your deck, Xerox and Lava Fused Dacer, because you can remove things, then Xerox gets bigger, then hits them, then kills another creature, then Xerox gets bigger again. So it's a neat little cycle. I'm definitely taking the Cloud Cleaver Titan here, because one, it's just much better than Necrotic Worm. It has mobility, and it's bigger at every rank except for 3. The mobility, it has actually scales, so it has 1, 2, and 3 mobility. Scaling mobility is very strong, especially mobility 3. You can just basically be anywhere. And the fact that it gets has decent stats and gives itself a pump attack boost whenever it's unopposed is very strong, especially in concert, sure, with Lava Fused Acer, together with Lava Fused Acer. So I think the two main picks here are Shatterbolt and Bone Scythe Reaver, with possible concessions to Flame River Instigator. But since I don't have any defenders, and I already have a Sparkstone Elemental, Flame River Instigator just not the pick here. Frost Shadow Strike's a good removal spell, I already said that, but it bears repeating that it does hit the face. It's 5, 9, 14. 14's really big for a Tempest Burn spell. And you can hit them in the face with it, so you can just 14 them if you've played it twice already. And it goes through Barrier Soldier, unlike Halevzith, because it just removes their armor before it hits them. Bone Scythe Reaver is a really weird card. It's pretty small. It's really, really strong if you're on the play, because you can play it in rank 1, and then you're the first on rank 2, and you hit your rank 2 Bone Scythe Reaver and kill one of their level 1 creatures. But if you're on the draw, it's kind of bad because it's so small. It still does that, it's just not nearly as effective because you don't have the tempo from playing your level 2 cards first. So you kind of get behind playing it. But since it's really good if you're on the play, it has a higher upside than Shatterbolt, which is good anyway. And Everflame Aura is a decent removal spell. I still like Blizzard Shaman though, because it's a really good mobility tool, plus it's huge. So we're going to take that. And finally take the Shatterbolt. Hungering Strike is okay as well, but I prefer having the reach and the extra damage than the Hungering Strike extra damage, because the Hungering Strike does not scale very well. It's only 3, 5, 9, whereas Shatterbolt is 5, 9, 14. And I guess I could just take a second Flowstone Primordial, because with my deck being 3 7/7s, a 6/7, a 6/7, and a 6/5, I could probably just be really early game oriented deck and try to kill them with Lava Fused Acer and Xerox, and use my removal spells to supplement their huge power beefy guys. So really good removal spell here in Bloodbindings. Ossuary Spirit's unplayable in this deck because I don't have any pump spells. Darkstone, I think this is the first Acer I've seen since the Darkshard Witch. I wouldn't take it even if I had taken the Darkshard Witch, because Darkstone Acer is really good if you have a lot of Darkforge, but really bad if you don't. And Frost Shadow Strike is still insane, so we're going to go up to, 6 spells with this? I usually try to have around 6 to 10 spells. This pick's kind of hard. Actually, it's not really hard. Cloud Cleaver Titan's very good and all. I like the card a lot, but it's no Borean Stormweaver. This card is a really good method of board control, which is already very good with my Shatterbolt, Frost Shadow Strike, Bitterfrost Totems, and my Xerox. But it's also randomly a 16/20 at rank 3, which is for no reason. It's just gigantic. It should probably not be that big. It should probably be a 14/16 or something like that, because it has such a good board control tool, and it just rewards you too much for leveling it up. But I guess that's set 3 for you. Just everything is just ridiculous at rank 3. And Aether-Tap Shaman's really strong. I like that card a lot. It's got a decent body and it has mobility when you play a spell. I could take Cragwalker because it's a 7/2 with mobility 1. It dies to basically everything, but it kills a large majority of things too, with its 7, 12, 18 scaling. Probably still worse than Blizzard Shaman though. And Blizzard Shaman does fall off in multiples, but it's not like I'm really doing anything with Cragwalker. Cragwalker's decent with Lava Fused Acer, but it's so fragile I rarely play it just as an aggressive threat, because it dies to any level 1 card. It even dies to most tokens of level 2 Bright Tusk Sower or something like that. So it's not very reliable. I'd rather just have a Blizzard Shaman to more chances to draw them. Just because I have them doesn't mean I need to play them. I could take 3rd Bitterfrost Totem, or I could take 2nd Zombie Infantry. With 2 Primordials, 3 Ambushers, an Aether-Tap Shaman, a Necroamoeba, and a Blightskull, I think I have way more than enough things to play at level 1. and I don't really need another zombie infantry. And even though I'm taking like a 7th spell here, which kind of dilutes my deck a little from like having a lot of high-end threats, removal spells are very good when you're playing all these huge creatures, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that. And sweet, I actually think this might be the best. I haven't. Oh, okay. I'll disclaimer this because I haven't drafted a huge amount of Berserk in this format. I've drafted probably like 8 times or something like that. Not a huge amount. I've mostly been drafting Umbric, but this is probably the best Berserk deck I've ever drafted in this format. It doesn't hold a candle to the last format, but we're not in the land of Howl of Zith anymore, so oh well. So I'm going to end the video here and go into round 1 with the next one.